this video we're going to take a look at versioning and naming. So first things first, just look at this picture here. Just imagine you was trying to find a specific book or trying to find a pen or a rubber or something you needed in this room. It would obviously be a nightmare. And that's the same with your folder structure. So having a really neat and organised folder structure is honestly one of the best things you can learn in ICT when you first start. It means you can find your work easily, all your file names make sense, your folder names make sense, everything's in a logical place. It means you spend less time looking for work, which in the long run means you're saving time. And when you become, at university, when you become professionals and you're working, you saving time means you can get something else done. If you get something else done, then maybe you can leave work early, or maybe you can work more efficiently so you get more done so you can get a promotion, or maybe it just means you can do your job really, really well so you don't have any hassle at work, you're not getting moaned at by anybody. The worst thing you can do is have an awful folder structure, then someone says, oh, have you got that folder, or you got that file that we did so weeks ago, and you can't find it. So you should have this for all of your subjects at school. When you have your computer at home, you should have everything in nice folders there. When you go get a job, have everything in nice folders. As a teacher, I have a folder for each year that I work. So I had like 2013, 2014, 2014, 2015 and so on, where I put all the things relevant to that year in there. Then inside those folders I'd have my lessons that I have. If there was something one-offy, my seating plans, anything important like that. I'd also have another folder that has all my resources in, so I've got a OneDrive account that's got all my lessons for every subject that I've ever taught, which means now, say I find out, oh, you're teaching spreadsheets, which I haven't taught in a while, I've got all my lessons for it, so I don't have to waste time remaking things. So it's a really good habit to get into, using nice, neat, concise folder structures. Now, file naming. Now, here are some general guidelines. You don't have to constantly follow them, but if you can try and stick to some form of guideline, it will help. So your file name should be 8 or fewer characters because it's easier to read. Now, in my example here, I've got DVD, mood board, client requirements. Even though they're longer than 8 characters, they're still easy to read. Try and use a 3-character file extension, so .tiff with TIF, not TIFF. Try and use numbers and letters. Try not to use anything too crazy. Underscores are good, dashes are good, but when you start putting trying to put full stops in, exclamation marks and things, most of the time most pieces of software won't let you, but it's a good idea to not use them. Now, file names shouldn't contain spaces, really. So you see I put underscores there. For a folder I have just left a space, doesn't really matter, but the main thing, if you're not going to follow any of these, that's probably absolutely fine, but the bottom one is the most important. It should relate to the content of the file. If you click document 1, or one thing I see a lot is people just name things their name. So I put reachgrowy.doc. What is it? How do I know? I've got things that are from my past that I've named stupidly and I don't know what it is. I just go through and rename things. So it makes a lot of sense to name it right the first time, then you don't have to worry about it in later life. Now, versioning. Versioning is the process of saving multiple copies of a document in case of deletion or corruption, or in case you just want to see an earlier version. So each of your versions should have a different name. So you might have my website v1, my website v2, v3. You might even date it if you want to, but version 1, version 2, version 3 is fine. Now, if version 3, for example, gets deleted or corrupts, I can then go back to version 2. I don't have to start from scratch. The amount of students you see who have deleted something by accident or something's gone wrong and have to start again, if I got £1 every time, honestly, I would definitely be able to buy a house by now. And the whole point is you've got a reasonably up-to-date version you can go back to. In your coursework, you get marks for how well your folder structure is, how well your naming of files is, and if you've used versioning. Now, just doing draft 1, draft 2, draft 3 like that is versioning. That's absolutely fine. Have a versions folder, stick all your old versions in there. It shows how you've developed your product, it shows the changes you've made, it shows the process that you've done to create it. Now, there are special pieces of software that do this for you. I think Dropbox has a version history. I'm not sure if OneDrive does. I think Google Drive does as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure it does. It has version history that you can use. but that's hard to also evidence in your coursework. So just creating a versions folder works for that. In real life, using these cloud backup systems like Dropbox, OneDrive, things like that, does that for you. If you're a programmer, you get quite a lot of version control software that allows you just to revert back to earlier versions, because quite often you make a change and you can absolutely destroy a program. So being able to use version control just sort of has a safety net that you're not going to wreck all of your programs you make. Now, some general advice, not related to iMedia, not related to a specific course or anything like that, but when you're doing work for anything, so it's working at home, you're making a website for yourself, you've got a job in 20 years time, you go to a school, you go to university, keep a good folder structure. So the first thing you should do is make a folder structure, stick all your subjects in there, or even just create a few folders. As I said, the first thing I do is I create a 2019-20 folder in this case for this year. Then I have an admin folder, a teaching folder, and what's that, that's usually it. And then inside those I have more things. Now I've got a folder which has just got all the sort of random bits and bobs I've created in like Illustrator and things. So a fantastic folder name isn't something like stuff, call it, Illustrator projects, or additional computer science work or something like that, something that makes sense. Then you should back up your work regularly to at least 2 different mediums, so cloud and physical. So if you're doing cloud storage, you should use OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox. And if you're doing physical, stick it on a hard drive, USB stick, SD card, something that's removable that you can put in a safe place. Now, keep old versions and name them V1, V2. Once you're done and you've finished the work you're doing, delete it. You don't need to keep the versions if you don't need them in future. If you know that you're writing your personal statement and you're finished, you don't necessarily need to make loads and loads of versions of that. Stick it onto the cloud and you might have that version control available anyway. It might be a case of using version control programs, especially if you're doing programming and things. Naming your files correctly with sensible names and saving your work regularly. The bottom ones are most important. If you're doing an exam that's online, or you're doing a piece of coursework and you don't save it and your computer turns off, there's a power cut, it crashes, it blows up. If you don't save it regularly, you're going to lose all your work. So just please make sure you're doing that. Now an exam question. So a script has been created for a documentary about Alaskan bears and has been edited by different members of the pre-production team. State one way to keep track of its different edits, suggest a suitable name for the script, and why is it important that the file is named appropriately. So 3 relatively simple questions, probably 3 marks for all 3 of them. Pause the video and give it an answer. Okay, for some answers. So state one way to keep track of its different edits, keep versions. I put in brackets there and label well, so if you put something like version control, absolutely fine. If you put keep well labeled versions, that's also a good idea. Suggest a suitable name for the scripts. I put bear underscore script underscore v whatever, so you put v1, v2. And why is it important that the file name is named appropriately? So it's easy to find, you know which version it is, you know what it is, you know where it is, that kind of answer. So it's easy to find and you know which version it is. You could even say, so you even know which type of document it is, because we said bare script, not bare storyboard. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.